As XRP eyes the $1.30 resistance level, the question on the minds of crypto and XRP enthusiasts is, considering the latest developments and the ongoing lawsuit between the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple Labs, will we see significant growth in the price of XRP? Welcome back to Make Money Online. If you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on post notifications. We'll be right back after this.
GSX is an unprecedented financial asset that combines the best elements of a traditional investment with the backing of a stablecoin and the use cases of many of the largest decentralized currencies like XRP.
Following the breaking news in the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit, Ripple has filed a counter motion against the SEC's letter to the court to compel the defendants to produce certain recordings. The plaintiff's letter earlier filed was sent to compel the defendants to conduct a reasonable search of video and audio tape recordings of internal Ripple meetings. And now, in this new court document issued by the defendants' representatives, Ripple has requested that the SEC's motion should be denied. This plea was made on the basis of two solid arguments by Ripple. First, Ripple reminded the court that the litigation is long past the discovery deadline earlier issued by the court, and the plaintiff had already agreed to the search protocol employed by Ripple to identify individual recordings as requested. Second, in its prior motion to compel the production of these recordings, the SEC had gone into an agreement with the court that future recording requests would only be allowed if those requests are referenced in the future attestations of individual litigants or when included in documents produced by the defendants anytime after the end of the fact discovery phase. Ripple had already initiated a comprehensive and reasonable search for the requested recordings. Ripple put forth a defense that there is no way to search for additional recordings beyond the reasonable search Ripple had already conducted without reviewing every one of the over 4,000 recordings provisioned to the SEC, many of which are more than an hour in length. As such, Ripple has termed the present motion by the SEC, which largely disregards prior agreements and vastly exceeds the scope of the discovery, as a boil-the-ocean demand, flatly incompatible with the federal rules. Further arguing that given the resources required to pull that off, the SEC's request is disproportionate, adding to the myriad of material already produced in discovery. Furthermore, the defense claimed that the plaintiffs demand that Ripple reviews every single recording in the Blue Jeans and Zoom databases for responsiveness and privilege is not only unwarranted, but breaks up the distinction between a search for responsive content and a wholesale review of the full discovery. In favor of the defense, the court acknowledged the burden of the SEC's latest discovery demand and how it essentially exceeds any potential benefit sought. Now, Ripple has leveraged on the SEC's lousy and burdensome arguments to buttress a stronger case. The defendants have now used that to its maximum advantage, with the claim that the court should deny the plaintiff's burdensome motion to compel, instead seeking review of far fewer recordings. However, with the undue burden and cost to be accrued in the review of such a large volume of recordings, and given its irrelevance of the actual lawsuit, Ripple's plea is most likely to be granted, since the SEC had earlier made similar claims. Do you still think a win for Ripple is impossible? I don't think so. The initial lawsuit was filed by the SEC late last year in December of 2020, where the commission sought to disgorge at least $1.38 billion believed to be the revenue generated by the decacorn company during the sale of the XRP coin, with the claims that the Ripple coin has more characteristics of an investment contract than a commodity token. However, Ripple has accused the SEC of just seeking disgorgement money, claiming that the SEC refused to review these contracts. All attempts to get the financial regulators to review and provide documentation against XRP that would buttress its claims that the Ripple coin is indeed an investment contract have been futile. And even with the outdated Howey test at its disposal, the SEC has reserved the right to rely on such contracts in support of its claims, submitting that it can't be bothered to actually read them. Ripple is now asserting that the SEC's argument is based on greed rather than providing a fair market for investors to trade, as is the sworn responsibility of the commission. The Amici cure status granted to attorney John Deaton permits the pro-Ripple lawyer to question individual movements in the case. As such, Mr. Deaton will be allowed to extend brief legal questions and concerns on behalf of the individual litigants. This friend of the court status was granted to Mr. Deaton, who's been outright about his support for Ripple during the months-long stretches of the lawsuit. Joining in on the Amici status are 6 other movements who filed motion to intervene as defendants in this action. Aside from John Deaton, we have James Lamont, Tyler Lamont, Mia Lamont, Mitchell McKenna, and Christiana Warner. In addition to granting the movement's motion to serve as a friend of the court, they have denied their motion to intervene. However, reinstating that this exclusive amicus curiae status will be most beneficial to the court during the briefing on dispositive motions. Just as Ripple asserts that the SEC's claim for the production of over 4,000 videos and audio recordings as being an over-demand request, representatives of the blockchain payment company have marked the SEC's claims as unreasonably cumulative or duplicative, putting forward a contention that the plaintiffs have been engaging in such acts like emphasizing on any unproduced data as direct evidence on whether Ripple's sales of XRP are to be considered as investment contracts. Hence, Ripple has cited every document request's repetitive designation during the discovery phase as highly paramount to the case, as downright speculative as it holds no factual support. What's more, Ripple has also argued that in principle, even if any of those unbegotten record files are appropriated to the case, the SEC's request remains unreasonably cumulative and duplicative of the discovery held beforehand regarding the said topic. Under Rule 26 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, general provisions regarding discovery, duty of closure, the defendants, Ripple Labs and its counsel in court, have defended their argument. However, the limitations provided by the rule of engagement governing this law states that the court reserves the right to alter the limits in these rules on the number of depositions and interrogatories or the scope of the testimonies under another directive, known as Rule 30. Additionally, by order or local law, the court could still limit the number of requests under a different rule set, Rule 36. As such, the extent of use of the discovery procedures to be employed with regards to these rules, and governed by local laws, shall be subject to the court based on three different assumptions. Firstly, should the court determine that the sought discovery is unreasonable and duplicative, which is precisely the case with the SEC's most recent demands, or if the requested data is obtainable from some other source which is more convenient, then the court may act upon its initiative after reasonable notice or under a motion under Rule 26. The plaintiff's recent court order has raised speculations of the final verdict gravitating towards the defendant's favor, as the interests of the individual movements and the XRP community are aligned. However, in that same light, the SEC's claim of a security status for XRP and the subsequent allegation that the defendant's violation of the Securities Act instead of selling these digital assets has slowly been nullified as more events unfold. Where do you think the final verdict regarding this lawsuit would look? Do you think the end of the litigation is nigh? Or perhaps a settlement might be the most likely occurrence to wrap up the feud? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on bell notifications. We also have a free Discord group where we share daily signals, and now you can also support us on Patreon. We have a special offer for our first 100 members, only $9.99 for our VIP Discord channels, where we share much more in-depth analysis and even one-on-one sessions. And make sure you check out the GSX competition for your chance to win big. Links are below, and if you have any questions, drop us a comment. And we'll see you next time.
Hollywood car